Hey, what's up? It's 2Base. Just like the title says, we're gonna take a look at the Boondocks series to see if we can find out what happened to it. So let's get the video started. Roll the intro.
The life of a black hero has never been for the meek of heart. You will not get out of here alive! Do you hear me?
The Boondocks was created by Aaron McGruder. McGruder has been drawing on and off throughout his childhood, but it wasn't until high school that he started to take drawing more seriously. He decided around that time that he wanted to draw superhero comics, but found the task to be more difficult than he imagined. He worked on drawing superhero comics for a couple of years, and even took a year off college to do so, putting in 14 hours a day submitting his work to comic book companies, but making a superhero comic didn't really get him anywhere. In between working on his comic submissions, he would make little comic strips in his leisure time to relax. These comic strips later would be known as the Boondocks. The Boondocks first premiered on hitlist.com as a webcomic in 1996. The Boondocks was also in the Diamondback newspaper at the University of Maryland for a short time, and also appeared in The Source, which is a hip-hop magazine, for a short while. Eventually, the Boondocks became a syndicated comic script when McGruder signed with the Universal Press Syndicate in 1999. How McGruder was able to get his comic script syndicated is that he met the Universal Press vice president by accident at an MBJ convention in Chicago. He sat down with her as soon as he saw her name tag. McGruder gave the vice president a copy of his script, and after she read his script, she went back to the syndicate and pushed them to get him a contract. The premise of the comic strip is about social satire, race, and politics and pop culture, usually seen in the eyes of elementary school students, mainly Huey, but there's also other characters, but I'll talk about them later. The comic strip had the third largest launch in comic history, after Calvin and Hobbes and For Better or Worse. In an interview, McGruder explained when he launched the comic strip, he didn't really catch any flack for it, mainly because all the negative feedback went to the newspaper company instead, and most of his reader feedback sent to his email address was positive. The comic strip follows a couple of characters, Huey and Riley of course, but Jasmine is also one of the main characters instead of having a supporting role like in the TV series. And there's also another character by the name of Caesar who was introduced as Huey's best friend. I'll revisit this part later, mainly because there's other characters I want to talk about, so we'll come back to this. In 2003, McGruder signed with Sony Entertainment to write a TV pilot for the Boondocks. The goal was to have a TV deal around 2004-2005. Originally, McGruder started working on the Boondocks TV pilot for Fox, but for some unknown reason, that deal fell through. McGruder even said making that Fox pilot made him feel like a zombie when he was working on it. Eventually, McGruder got a call from Mike Laszlo, who was one of the executives for Adult Swim. He contacted McGruder, asked to look at the pilot that he made, and of course, we all know what happened next.
Yo!
Excuse me, everyone, I have a brief announcement to make. Jesus was black, Ronald Reagan was the devil, and the government is lying about 9/11.
No! He really did it! He did it!
The Boondocks premiered on Adult Swim on November 6, 2005. The TV series followed the Freeman family, Huey, Riley, and Robert Freeman, with Huey and Riley both being voiced by Regina King and Robert being voiced by John Witherspoon. The Freemans moved to the suburbs of Woodcrest in order to start a new and better life. The TV series was inspired by Japanese animation. The ones that really inspired McGruder was Cowboy Bebop, Speed Racer, and Samurai Champloo. When the show premiered, they had 1.5 million viewers that night, which is something Adult Swim never experienced before, especially with a premiere. It was pretty much safe to say that Adult Swim had a hit on their hands. The episodes were so popular at that time on the internet, most of the topics trending worldwide on Twitter were related to the Boondocks. The series was pretty popular but also pretty expensive. The Boondocks was one of the most expensive shows that Adult Swim produced, spending $400,000 an episode, mainly because of the marketing and licensing fees. Season 1 is probably my favorite season overall. I like how this guy attacked Eat Dirt in one scene of the episode, but in the next shot he's on his side threatening against Delicious.
Tensions exploded at an awards show last year when a chair was thrown at Eat Dirt.
Look here, man. A lot of these niggas trying to have what we didn't have, but they ain't done what we done to have what we didn't have. You know what I'm saying? Especially you, Delicious. You ain't done nothing.
What?
There are a few differences from the comic strip and the TV series. McGruder did this on purpose so that the comic strip and the show could be kept separate and not depend on one another. Because of this, a couple characters didn't show up into the TV series, like Caesar. I mean, there was a rumor that he was going to be in season 3, being voiced by Kylie Troy, but that didn't happen. Some characters from the comics got a redesign and some relationships were changed between characters. Like how Riley, who has a low haircut in the comic strip but has braids in the TV series, Cindy also went through a couple of changes. She wore her hair in the standard ponytail in the comic strip and acted kinda ditzy. Whereas in the TV series, she has her hair in a braid and talks in slang.
This is our block. Now you gonna get down or you gonna lay down? And if they be like, I don't know, let me think about it. We pull out the Roscoe and we be like, block out, block out.
And she's best friends with Jasmine in the comic script. And she hung out more with Huey than she did with Riley, mainly because they're in the same class. But in the TV version, Cindy barely interacted with Huey and only associated with Jasmine during the fundraising episode. The show had a lot of surprise voice guests like Lil Wayne, Cat Williams, Snoop Dogg, Adam West, Charlie Murphy, even Sway. Tara Strong's there too, but come on, she's on everything. Oh, and fun fact, Thug Nifus was originally supposed to be voiced by Ludacris, but he backed out of it last minute. So Carl Jones, who was a producer on the show, voiced him instead.
When we created this character, Thugnificent, originally that was supposed to be Ludacris. He had this deal with Ludacris. So he said he would do the show and he would play Thugnificent if I drew his album cover, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, cool. So, I started working on some ideas for the album cover. And then every time I tried to get in touch with him, I just could never reach him because I was trying to get some feedback, right? Mm-hmm. So time passed. Finally, I did get him on the phone, but I had to block my number to get him. So I got him on the phone, and he was like, yo, who this? And I was like, yo, this is Carl from the Boondocks. And he was like, well, yo, normally I don't answer the phone if I don't see a number I recognize. And I'm like, but you did this time. And he was like, he said, yeah, but what you want? And I said, well, I'm trying to do this cover or whatever. And he was like, well, I ain't got time right now. So he got off the phone, and so the cover never got done. Mm. So what happened was when it was time for him to record, he was like, I'm not gonna do the part because y'all never did my album cover. I'm like, nigga, we've been trying to get in touch with you for 4 months. So anyways, he backed out like at the last second. Mm-hmm. And so what happened is I temped the voice in the animatics just so that the animators could have something to work with. Mm-hmm. And because Aaron really liked it and thought it worked, I just ended up doing it because we didn't have any time.
In 2007, McGruder won a Peabody Award for the episode Return to King. This was when season 2 was just about to wrap up with a third season in the works of being made. People were raving about the episodes, giving them positive reviews. But as you know, good things don't last. Entering the third season, the writing kind of fell a little off. Honestly, season 3 was okay to me. I probably only like 3 episodes out of this whole season. Well, at least Tom got some character development. Towards the end of season 3, Carl Jones and Aaron McGruder had a small falling out, mainly because Carl Jones had to take some time away from the Boondocks to go work on Black Dynamite, and I guess McGruder wasn't too pleased.
Okay, I left after the third season, right? Mm-hmm. And part of the reason why I left is because I was developing a few other things like towards the tail end of that season. I wasn't going to leave, I was just developing other stuff, but Aaron wasn't really too cool about the fact that I was developing other things like Black Dynamite, right? Mm-hmm. And so he and I had a big fallout over that. To the point where he didn't want me on the show anymore because it was kind of like it was a real, I don't even want to say family type of, it was almost like it was like a gang really. Like either you belong to you rocking with Boondocks or you don't rock with nothing else at the same time. Like and I didn't quite understand that. So that's where we had like a big misunderstanding, right? And then from there, it was, I went on to do Black Dynamite, and he was trying to get another season going for season 4, and it took forever. Mm-hmm. And I remember at one point, we tried to work something out. Like I was willing to come back to the show, and we were going to try to work things out. And he didn't want it to happen.
After season 3 ended, Aaron McGruder no longer worked on the show. According to Carl Jones, Sonny said McGruder wrote too slow and the show was falling behind production. Apparently Sonny ordered 15 to 20 episodes for season 4 of the Boondocks, but only got 10 episodes.
Sony is gonna cut the bleeding off, so to my knowledge, because I wasn't actually there during the 4th season, but to my knowledge, the show was falling way behind production, and eventually they had to cut their losses because they couldn't. I think they did like a a 15 or 20 episode order or something like that, and I think they delivered 10, I believe.
I think so. Aaron McGruder is so sick, mad at Sony Pictures.
Yeah.
Well, he sold his rights to TV to Sony, and they wanted to go 3 more years after this year.
Yeah.
But they want him to do 3 shows a week. He said, I can't write that fast. They fired him and got some poot butts to write.
Oh.
And so he quit, and we done.
Sony even tried to get rid of the original voice cast, but they couldn't find anyone who had the close enough voice to match the original cast. The only person that got replaced was Jasmine's voice actress.
To get somebody to do my voices, all our voices. People said, I can't do no damn spoon voice.
Season 4 was kind of weird. For some reason, Grandad became the main focus of that season. And why bring Stinkmeaner back as a clone? When the Freemans fought against Stinkmeaner's friends, that was a perfect ending to that trilogy. Why ruin it by bringing them back as a clone?
Do you understand what I've just told you?
I'm a clone!
Yes, created at this secret and highly illegal underground human cloning facility.
Why am I so old?
What?
If you cloned me when you say you did, shouldn't I still be a little kid?
Season 4 was definitely the most weakest season. The show didn't get picked up for season 5. Adult Swim just aired the reruns from time to time, till they eventually just took it off the schedule altogether. Right now, Carl Jones is working on a show for Adult Swim called Laser Wolf. Regina King, who voices Huey and Riley, is still doing her acting thing for shows like the Watchmen series. As for John Witherspoon, well, he's been John Witherspoon. As for Aaron McGruder, it seems that he wants to make a Boondocks app game, but doesn't know what App Store will let him get away with. But judging from the comic strip he just released, it's safe to say that the Boondocks will be back in some form of media. So that's it for this video. This video kind of took me a while to research, but I had a lot of fun making it. And plus it kind of gave me an excuse to rewatch the Boondocks episodes. I never really know how to close these videos out. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button. Also subscribe if you're new to this channel. Also tell me what's your favorite episode or season of the Boondocks down below. So until next time, see you.